Usually, the King of Heroes doesn't get drunk. No matter how many times he keeps drinking his wine from his treasury or the alcohol from Chaldea's bar, he would never get drunk. And he doesn't talk about his problems or his fears as well. However, when he gets drunk, that's where things get interesting. As the King of Heroes turns into the King of Drunks, Archer Gilgamesh groaned as he had his head down on the counter. "Hey mongrel, one more glass, please." He moaned with a bit of a slur in his tone of voice. Moriarty let out a sigh. "Really, King of Heroes? That's your 10th glass today. Normally, I wouldn't be worried about this since we're heroic spirits and all, but even I'm surprised with the amount of alcohol you're taking today." Gilgamesh moaned again. "Just shut up and give me another glass, mongrel," he drunkenly said. "As you wish." Moriarty then went back to the bar's inside countertop and started to make another drink. Wow. Seeing the King of Heroes like this, quite amusing, I must say. Meanwhile, Gilgamesh was putting his head down on the countertop and was moaning about something. "Damn you, faker, hiccup he moaned. As he continued laying his head down on the countertop, it was then that a certain servant came into his room. Enkidu, his best friend. Wonder where Gil could be? From what I heard from the other servants around here, they saw him heading towards the bar. Well, I'm here now, so where could he be?" After a few seconds of looking around, Enkidu found his friend on one of the stools at the bar counter. "Ah. There he is." And Enkidu then headed towards to where Gilgamesh was. "Hey there Gil," he said to him. Noticing his best friend's voice, Gilgamesh slowly moved his head from the table and looked at him. "Oh, hey there Enkidu," Gilgamesh moaned. "Hey there Gil. You seem a bit down today." "You have no idea my friend," Moriarty said from the other side of the counter as he continued making Gilgamesh's drink. "He's been like that for a while now actually." "Hey there Moriarty," Enkidu said cheerfully. "Hey there Enkidu," Moriarty replied. "So, what do you mean he's been like that for a while now?" Enkidu asked as he was getting back to the conversation. "Well, it's quite simple. Earlier, I was just cleaning out the bar. Then suddenly, the King of Heroes shows up, looking all grumpy, and asked me for a drink," Moriarty replied. "Really?" "Yeah. And he's been at it non-stop. In fact, he just finished his 10th glass." "Is that so?" "Yeah. Anyways, here you go King of Heroes, your drink is here," Moriarty said as he handed the King of Heroes his drink, in which he accepted immediately. "And how about you? Will you be drinking tonight?" Enkidu was about to say what he wanted to drink, but was interrupted by Gilgamesh. "He'll have hiccup, nothing you mongrel." Moriarty let out a sigh. "I'm sorry, King of Heroes, but your friend needs to drink something here, or else he leaves." Then hiccup, he'll have a glass of water then, hiccup. "As you wish." Enkidu let out a sigh. "You know I'm not a kid anymore." "I know hiccup. It's just that the bar here doesn't have anything here that you might like hiccup. None of these drinks are worthy for you," Archer Gilgamesh replied with some slurs in his voice. Enkidu was surprised with his best friend's condition. "Wow. You are wasted. Just how long were you here?" Maybe an hour or so?" Hiccup, Gilgamesh drunkenly replied. Enkidu was stunned with his best friend's answer. "Really? You were here for an hour?" To be more precise Enkidu, he was here for an hour and 30 minutes, Moriarty said as he handed Enkidu his glass of water. "Here you go." "Ah. Thank you, Moriarty." Enkidu then grabbed the glass of water and took a sip out of it. "So, why was Gil here for an hour and 30 minutes? I suppose it has something to do with the keyword, faker. although I don't know what it means to him. Do you know? Moriarty replied. Enkidu let out a sigh as he now knew who he was referring to. Emiya Shirou. Ah. He must be referring to the servant known as Emiya Shirou. Now that I think about it, why does he hate him to begin with? I know he constantly calls him Faker because he's able to do the same thing as Gil, but why does he loathe him so much? Ever since he arrived here, Gil's mood went for the worst, and I don't know why. I mean, when I first met him, he seemed to be a nice guy, so why? Anyways, after he drank a few drinks, he started moaning about how he wanted revenge against this so-called Faker, and that's all I know. Anyways, good luck talking to him. He's been muttering to himself for a while now, Moriarty said. I see. Thank you for the explanation, Enkidu said. No problem, Moriarty replied. Enkidu then turned to Gilgamesh, who was drinking his 11th glass. So, my friend, why were you here for an hour and 30 minutes? For a moment, Gilgamesh was silent. Gil? That damn Faker. He moaned. Enkidu let out a sigh. You mean Emiya Shirou? Upon hearing his full name, Gilgamesh immediately raised his head. Don't say that name. Never mention that Faker's name in front of me. I swear, every time whenever I hear someone say that Faker's name, it makes my blood boil, he moaned. Enkidu tried to calm down Gilgamesh from his drunken rant. Calm down, Gil. Calm down. You're looking unsightly here. Yeah, and it's quite amusing honestly, Moriarty thought. Gilgamesh then calmed down after hearing his best friend's words. Sorry, it's just that hearing that name infuriates me. No wait, his entire existence infuriates me to no extent. Enkidu let out a huge sigh. You're still mad at him from that match a while ago? Yes. How dare that Faker cut off my arm? Not to mention the fact that he possesses multiple weapons in which I do not even have. Not only that, but one of the weapons he possesses surpasses my greatest treasure, EA. That should not even be possible. How is it that sword the Faker possesses surpasses EA? And the fact that I didn't know about it until now. Can you believe that? Gilgamesh ranted. Honestly, I'm still surprised hearing that. I mean, a weapon that isn't part of your treasury? That's something new to hear, Enkidu replied. I know, right? Not to mention the fact that his swords, which are inferior knockoffs of my treasures, were able to break my treasures. That's such bullshit. I know, Enkidu said as he allowed to Gilgamesh to rant out his troubles. That's the 4th time I heard this. Gilgamesh then took another sip of his drink. Damn it, why did he have to arrive? Thanks to him, my reputation as the strongest servant of Chaldea has been taken away by him. I bet he's laughing in my face right now. Enkidu gave Gilgamesh a few pats on his back. Relax, I don't think he is. Anyways, get this. That Faker has the nerve to call me a mongrel. Get it? A mongrel. How dare he call me that word? And in front of people. Gilgamesh groaned. Enkidu sheepish laughed. To be fair, you are one actually, considering what your heritage is. Enkidu. Are you listening? Gilgamesh yelled. Yeah. I'm listening. Anyways, that's not the end of it. Somehow, that conversation between me and the Faker somehow got leaked to everyone here in Chaldea, and now I've been teased by everyone here, you know. Gilgamesh moaned as he put his head down. The insults, the many insults. That's karma there, Gil. Karma for calling others mongrels. Enkidu thought as he took another sip from his glass of water. Anyways, you got your problems out of you, Gil? No. There's the case with that damn blacksmith as well. Gilgamesh moaned as he now remembered the other person that defied his authority. Enkidu was confused with what Gilgamesh just said. Blacksmith? I don't think we have one here. We do actually. Inside of that faker's body is the spirit of a blacksmith by the name of Sango Muramasa, who had the nerve to insult me. He even called me an arrogant, self-centered, golden-spoiled brat. How do you know though? Did you already meet him before? Yes. Twice. The first time was in that faker's reality marble in which he insulted me, calling me an arrogant, self-centered, golden-spoiled brat. And the second time was even worse. How worse? Gilgamesh let out a sigh. That damn blacksmith claimed that I don't even have one of his so-called Muramasa blades in my treasury. As so, I opened Gate of Babylon to prove him wrong. However, to my surprise, nothing came out. Which meant that there is no so-called Muramasa blade in the Gate of Babylon. Can you believe that? The faker possesses a set of weapons that my treasury doesn't even have? That's impossible. Enkidu let out a tiny chuckle from hearing Gilgamesh's childish rant. Wow. Looks like both Emiya Shirou and Sango Muramasa clearly broke the rules. He thought as he took another sip of his glass of water. So, what happened next? For a moment, Gilgamesh was silent for a moment. Gil? That blacksmith punched me into the ceiling, knocking me out. Gilgamesh yelled. Enkidu was surprised at both the outburst and what Gilgamesh just said. Really? He knocked you out into the ceiling? Yeah. With just one punch, that lowly blacksmith just punched me in the stomach and somehow, sending me into the ceiling. Geez, that must be one strong punch, and I suppose you attacked first, huh? Exactly. Enkidu let out a sigh. Gilgamesh, one of these days, you need to stop attacking anyone that calls you out first. Otherwise, you won't make many friends, he said. Gilgamesh sighed as well. Honestly, Enkidu, you're the only friend that I need. Everyone else besides Master is just below you. They're all mongrels, he moaned. You know that type of behavior is the exact reason why the King of Knights and her alternate counterparts you have a crush on hates you. Gilgamesh let out a groan. You don't have to remind me about that, geez, why does she hate me so much? I'm the king of heroes, you know. I have everything in this world, he moaned. Enkidu chuckled. Well Gil, you kept hitting on her many times and kept telling her be mine every day. Of course, she's going to hate you for that. Gilgamesh didn't say a thing. And there's the fact that she and that faker known as Emiya Shirou are together. Gilgamesh let out a giant moan. Again, don't say that faker's name. Never mention that faker's full name in front of me, never again, he moaned. Alright, I won't mention his full name again, Enkidu replied with a sigh. Good. Because that name still haunts me to no end. And how did that faker manage to get Saber's affection while I haven't? That's completely bullshit. I mean, come on. What does that faker have that I don't have? It was then that Moriarty decided to cut into the conversation. I suppose the servant known as Emiya Shirou lacks the arrogance and ego you have, King of Heroes. Gilgamesh then turned to Moriarty. And what do you know, you mongrel? Well, it's quite simple. You see, you are so prideful and arrogant that you constantly look down on most other servants, which would make other servants resent you. Emiya Shirou, on the other hand, is nice to everyone here in Chaldea. I can see why nearly everyone here admires him, Moriarty replied. Exactly, Gil. And let's not mention the fact the first time you met him, you tried to kill him. And that was when he was on a date with Saber. Quite the poor impression, don't you think? Enkidu asked as he turned to Moriarty. Indeed. Quite barbaric, I must say, Moriarty replied. Yeah. Even your caster and younger counterparts think so as well. Hey. A faker like him shouldn't be with her. Hiccup, only I am worthy of her, Gilgamesh said. Enkidu let out a sigh. Gil, I can't believe that I'm saying this, but the way you were acting at the time was like Ishtar when she had a crush on you. Gilgamesh was stunned at the words Enkidu just said. What? You heard me. The way you were acting at the time was like Ishtar when she had a crush on you. Gilgamesh was baffled. No way. Yeah. Trying to kill him when he was on a date with Saber? That sounds familiar to when Ishtar killed me when she had a crush on you. After comprehending Enkidu's words for a bit, Gilgamesh realized that he was right. The way he acted on that day, it was a near reenactment of what happened between him, Enkidu, and Ishtar. And it was so true that it was painful for him to realize it. Gilgamesh let out a sigh. Enkidu, what should I do? Listen, Gil, I've seen you go through your good days and bad days ever since I met you. Considering that your ego can't be changed since you're too stubborn, there is one piece of advice I can give you. Gilgamesh turned to Enkidu. What is it? He asked. Just ignore him. Gilgamesh was baffled with what Enkidu just said. Ignore him? That faker? Yeah. I mean, if his existence bothers you, then just ignore it. Isn't it that simple? I mean, you don't have to react to everything that he does, you know. For a moment, Gilgamesh was silent upon hearing Enkidu's answer. Then after a few seconds, he started to place his hand on Enkidu's shoulder. You're right, my old friend. It's probably better if I ignore him, he muttered. Enkidu let out a smile. See? Now do you feel better? Why yeah. Great. Gilgamesh and Enkidu then started to chat about their daily lives while Morty was watching from the sidelines. Well then, looks like the King of Heroes is not in that state anymore, although it was fun while it lasted. After a few more minutes of chatting, Gilgamesh suddenly got out of his seat and started to leave the bar. Gil, where are you going? Enkidu asked. Gilgamesh let out a drunk smile. Isn't it obvious, my old friend? We're hitting the karaoke bar next. Now follow me. Hiccup, ha 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 ha. And then Gilgamesh left. Enkidu let out a sigh. Wait up for me, he said as he began to follow him. Well then, the King of Heroes going to a karaoke bar, I wonder how he sings. Moriarty thought.